How's everybody doing tonight? If you're tuning in for the Roker 3D pinball, that's not happening tonight. I got this other puzzle which we're going to give a shot. It's called the Jig Toy. I don't know if that's one word or two. That's probably, I think I spelled it as two words, but it's probably one word. They call it the desk clock, but I think there's actually multiple of these. This one's like, what is that? I don't think it's a pug, but what is the name of that dog? Anyway, some type of dog. I think I didn't do the zoom camera yet. Yeah, that's totally not zooming. I also don't know why that back camera is like on the screen. I think I just wasn't paying attention to what I turned on. So what's the camera without that? All right. Okay. There was like no reason for that back camera. Okay, that's the close-up. Which, maybe we'll need at some point tonight. Maybe we won't. Anyway, it looks good. We also got the main camera overhead. It's kind of like down here. And then, as you saw, we got... I don't know if we'll need this tonight. Maybe if it's like really tall. Anyway, let's just... what are we doing here? Alright, this is the main camera. So let's open this up and see what we got going on. It says 40 to 60 minutes. So it says 40 to 60 minutes, and it says only 44 pieces. So even though it's building a clock, it's only 44 pieces. They rate it 3 out of 5 gears on difficulty. So I feel like we can do this in one night. I just thought it's like a Sunday. Let's get this out of the way. And then we'll go back to the Roker 3D pinball probably tomorrow, which we're up to day 21, or the next day we do on the Roker 3D pinball is going to be day 21. So that was listed as a 12-hour project. And we're up to day 21. So, I don't know. This says 40 to 60 minutes. Is that realistic? Pointer installation instructions. Why are the pointer installation instructions a sticker on the back of the box? It sounds like they forgot to put it in the instruction book. If there even is an instruction book. I've opened puzzles in the past where there was no instruction book. So I guess we have to cut out this little bit of instructions because they put a sticker on the box. Sounds like that's important. So let's grab that and not throw it out with the rest of the plastic. And then we'll open the box and see what's going on in here. Wow. Did they really forget to put... I don't want to make any assumptions. This is the first puzzle that I'm doing from Jig Toy. So I really have no idea if they're a good name or not. I guess we're going to form our opinion today when we do this puzzle. Was anyone watching the Women's World Cup? The U.S. got eliminated early this morning. And I just read an article, and they were talking about some 28-year-old player from BYU. That was like the golden boot. And basically in the women's professional league. And she wasn't on the squad. They didn't play her. They didn't even bring her to the World Cup. And I don't know the backstory. Maybe she was injured. Maybe she didn't get along. But, I kind of feel like it was a shootout. They were eliminated in a shootout. And 3 of the players missed 2 of them completely missed the goal. And 1 of them hit the iron. Hit the side post, not the crossbar, but the side post. Okay, so it's kind of small here. Those are like the hands, right? Like it was showing here, the hands on the clock. So there they are. And then this is probably the mechanism for the clock. All right, so those are a few pieces. It might go over 44 because sometimes they only count the wood that's in here as the 44, and then it'll actually be more pieces when you count the motor or clock, whatever that is, and the hands. So anyway, the USA was eliminated by Sweden, and they took, I think they attempted 7 penalties and hit 4, and the Swedish goaltender didn't stop any of the penalties. The USA just missed. Like, it could have been an empty net and they would have missed. Like, I'm not saying that it was an empty net, they would have just rolled it down the middle, but like, no matter where the goalie went, it didn't matter because the Swedish goalie never touched the ball. She won a shootout without touching the ball, whereas the U.S. goaltender got in front of 2 shots and she lost. By the way, the American goaltender took a shot on the Swedish goaltender in the shootout, and she shot it directly at the Swedish goaltender, and that worked. You know, the goaltender dove out of the way. So Swedish goaltender didn't stop anything. The Americans sent up there 3 people who didn't hit the goal. 2 of them sent it over the crossbar, didn't even touch it. Third one hit the post. I mean, what kind of team is this? You can't hit the net? Come on. All right, so we got the assembly instructions here. Let's first take a quick look at the boards. So I'm definitely going to go over the 40, 60 minutes because I'm spending time showing you the boards. But anyway, we're already 7 minutes in. I haven't done anything. You can see the face of the dog, and you can see the hands. Yeah, this is kind of a simple puzzle. I mean, it's big. It looks like a lot of big, easy pieces, honestly. There's the sandpaper. Will there be wax in here? Why is there a hole in the middle of this board? I don't know. So we got 4 boards here. It looks like 6. What? There's 2 boards with big holes in them. I guess that's for the motor where the clock is going to come through. You know, I don't think it's going to be super simple. I mean, we have to make the clock work. This piece appears to be broken. Let's hope that's not too important. Or is it 2 pieces? Or is this just a part of a board and it doesn't mean anything? Basically, we've got this little piece. May or may not mean something. This piece may or may not mean something, but it's possible that there's something broken here. I don't think I broke it. You saw me open it up. Or that could just be scrap. Oh, I see it. I see. No, that's not it. For a second, I thought maybe it wrapped around here, but no, it's too big. It does look like there's something not there. Oh my goodness, we got pieces flying out. All right, I'm not going to touch those boards anymore for a minute. Let's look next at the instructions. So, what do we got here? We got, oh, it's in color. I feel like breaking out the scanner and scanning this, which I probably will do, and I'll post it on the blog. But for tonight, I think we're just going to snap some quick pics. All right, what do we got here? 6, basically, pages, if you want to call them that. Well, I guess what the hell else would you call them? 6 pages. Really, it's one piece of paper that is like a trifold, and then it's double-sided. So, but let's just call it 6 pages. I don't know. I'm not going to invent a new term for a page. Just so I can, like, remember that this thing started as a trifold. Maybe I'll, like, cut it with scissors and then it'll be 3 pieces of paper, totaling 6 pages. The only thing is they don't have letters on them, but they have segments. I think I'm going to change the scoreboard so that it goes by segment and pieces, because there's like A. Where the hell is B? Oh, okay. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I mean, you know how the alphabet goes. Anyway, I'm going to change the scoreboard so it's segments and pieces. Now that I see this, you don't need segments, pieces. Yeah, that's all we need. And then I'll move the total count to the bottom. So while I'm adjusting the scoreboard, I guess let's talk about one of these questions here from the Word Teasers first pack. Arthur Ashe was the first black tennis player to win the men's singles at Wimbledon, win the men's singles at the U.S. Open. I mean, can it be both A and B? Can it be all of the above? Be ranked number one in men's tennis world? All right, I'm going to tell you that I think the answer is Wimbledon. And I'll tell you why I say that. Because when I was a kid growing up, it was in the 70s and 80s. And I think Arthur Ashe was before that time. But it was in the days when you, let me see. It was in the days when there was only a few televisions. And they would have the Wimbledon on in the summer. I think the U.S. Open is in September, so like I would already be back from the summer. I'll tell you I'll explain where I'm going this in a minute. So my dad, his job, he would examine these companies, like look at their books. So he was always traveling. So during the summer, we would like catch up with him and stay wherever he's staying. And we would, live in, it could be a trailer park. It could be a apartment. It could be, I don't think it would be a hotel. That would be too small for the whole family. But it was usually either trailer park or apartment, or usually like some horrible apartment in a bad neighborhood. So actually, people make fun of trailer parks, but I actually think that trailer parks are preferable to bad neighborhoods. Now, you might see the trailer park boys and think that trailer parks are bad neighborhoods. Yeah, I think Eminem grew up in one of those. Those are mobile home parks. A trailer park is different. A trailer park is like people who have homes and they park the trailer there as like their summer home, or maybe they travel across the country and instead of a hotel, they stay in a bunch of trailer parks. So, I'm just realizing something. I don't think I can put, like I'm calling the segments, but the segments are letters. Can I put letters in the scoreboard? I don't think I can. I'm going to try though, because maybe I can. I don't think so though. Anyway, if that happens, we're just going to refer to segment A as 1 and segment B as 2. That's how we'll do it. So, anyway, I have memories of staying specifically in the trailer and watching Wimbledon. And I remember there's a couple of things that they would like always do on every broadcast. It's almost like nowadays, how they have memes on the internet and someone always replies with like Captain Picard slapping his forehead. Well, back then they had different memes, network TV, although maybe a little good Freudian slip there. Anyway, network TV was in charge of like putting the memes on TV. And their memes would be, one of them was, what was her name? She was a female tennis player, and she played some Bobby Riggs in tennis, who I think was like a tennis announcer or something like that. Billie Jean King beat Bobby Riggs. So like, yeah, the top lady in our sport being an announcer. I mean, great job. But anyway, they would always mention that. And then they would always mention Arthur Ashe, and they would show him like lifting up the trophy. And these were during like Wimbledon broadcasts. So I'm assuming that he won Wimbledon, though I'm not really sure. All right, so now it says segment and total. We need to make it say segment and piece. And then I'm going to test if I could put a letter. But Arthur Ashe was also, as I recall, an American. So I feel like he probably also won the U.S. Open. I mean, that just seems like something he should have been able to do. All right, so now we're going to see if we can enter a letter. We can't. All right. So A equals 1. And B equals 2, and C equals 3. In terms of the segments changing from letters to numbers. That's the plan there. So I think we're going to do that. All right. Let's look at the back of this card and then grab the second card, because then I'm going to scan this instructions. All 3. So I got it right. I originally, my instinct answer was to say all 3. I actually, in my full exposition, I didn't mention, I said he probably won Wimbledon because of the commercial. He probably won US Open because of he was an American. And what I didn't mention, I guess technically, I got it wrong because I didn't mention it. But in my head, I was thinking if he won those 2, he probably was ranked also number 1. So the answer was yes, all 3. All 3 in 1968, Ash, 43-93, won the U.S. Open and was ranked number 1 player in the world. He won Wimbledon in 1975. Not only was he a great tennis player, Ash was also a crusader for equality. That's interesting, that crusader for equality, because a lot of people would talk about barriers in tennis, like recently. Like they would talk about like the Williams sisters. And when they do that, my first instinct is to say, like, didn't Arthur Ashe, like, win? Like, I remember growing up, like, seeing Arthur Ashe, like, being credited with winning Wimbledon. Like, I mean, like, what barrier did the Williams sisters break? I'm pretty sure that Arthur Ashe won Wimbledon in the 70s, so I'm not sure what barrier they broke. Maybe they broke some barrier. I don't want to take I don't want to seem like a hater, but it certainly wasn't the color barrier. Like another commercial I remember seeing a lot when I was growing up was Branch Rickey and and Jackie Robinson and the Major League Baseball, then called color barrier. So they won that. Not they won that, but Branch Rickey hired Jackie Robinson, and before that, there was, I mean, I don't know if this is 100% true, but supposedly he was the first black player in Major League Baseball. Like there was something that was called the Negro League, which I think nowadays, if you say Negro, that's offensive and you lose your like YouTube channel. But back then, things were like named Negro. Like they had a league and it was called the Negro League. And I think they had like organizations that would be like the National Advancement for, I don't know. I don't remember the names. But, I think that one was actually even more offensive. It was like the National Association for the Advancement of Colored Persons. Like, try calling someone like a colored person today. I think it's not going to go well. But back then, that was a thing. You could say that. You were like, I don't know. Not that you would say it, but people, they named their organizations that. I mean, it was like officially a term. Crazy as that sounds. All right, we got 2 more pages to do, but I gotta like fold this thing in a particular way. So Arthur Ashe won Wimbledon. Was he the first? I think the lady who is Mary Outerbridge? I live on Staten Island, and there's a bridge called the Outer Bridge Crossing, and I think that is named after someone named Mary Outerbridge, who had something to do with tennis. Maybe she was like the first American to play tennis or something like that. It's really confusing that they would name a bridge after someone named Bridge, and then it would be like, then they'd have to call the bridge a crossing, but that's exactly what they did. So Mary Outerbridge of the Outer Bridge Crossing fame. So she's that was her name. All right, so we scan these things. Let's move on to the next question while I rotate them. Wait, did I finish talking about Mary Outer Bridge? Outer Bridge Crossing. Oh, yeah. There was something around I want to go with that. So, like, when you watch, like, TV and the news today, they're always acting like this barrier was broken, that barrier was broken, and it's based on, you know, like identity politics type of things. But as far as I know, all of these barriers were broken like a long time ago. like Arthur Ashe won before we were born. Like Mary Outerbridge was like a female and she had a bridge named after her again before we were born. I mean, it's like all this stuff that they act like is just happening. It's not. It was happening. Like I remember they were like, when they elected the current pope, I remember there was some talk like, will the pope be from Africa? And people put headlines because one of the candidates was from Africa, and they were like, is it the first like African pope? And I think, not that I'm like a huge defender of everything that the Vatican says, but I think that in this case, the Vatican like said, actually, we had many popes from Africa, like 1,000 years ago, 700 years ago, 500 years ago. It's like not remotely the first time. I mean, there's a lot of, I don't think the church ever like, discrimination, they act like it's such a big deal. And I'm not going to be the one who says it's not. I mean, if it's a big deal to you, then I'm with you and I think it's a big deal. But historically speaking, the rulers are the people with the money. Like, nobody really asks, like, nobody says, like, I'm not going to build this castle for you because you're the wrong color. They might say your money's the wrong color or it's the wrong type or something like that. But, like, money talks and bullshit walks. And, like, you know, gold is money. The color of your metal is your money, and the color of your skin, that's just, like, barely has any consequence at all. I know I can't say that. I'll probably have my YouTube channel removed tomorrow, but I mean, if you look through history, I think you'll find that money really determines things a lot more than anything else. And actually, that should be even a bigger problem. Like, if you want to be a social justice person, work on that, because money really shouldn't be that big a thing. I mean, it's not anything. Like, money is a store of wealth. Money should be an exchange of wealth. Remember when cryptocurrency was becoming big and people were like, oh, it wasn't meant to be a store of wealth. It was meant to be an exchange of commerce. It's really funny to say that about cryptocurrency because you could say that about any money. I mean, that's always been the case, that the money was supposed to be a means of commerce, not a store of wealth. Like, anytime you think like, you know, I'm going to store this money and that's going to make me rich, that's weird. You're not supposed to be able to be rich just because you're holding money. And I have a theory on why that thinking is tolerated. And that's because the alternative is worse. So, for example, a simple alternative is gold. Like, people will say, oh, yeah, I don't believe in money, but I have a vault full of gold. And what gold is a commodity. So, if you are not allowed to store wealth, whether it's in banknotes or crypto coins, then the next thing you're going to do, if you're determined to store wealth, is commodities. And the problem with commodities, it's basically hoarding. So, like, when you hoard gold, people don't really think much about it because they figure, like, it's not really. I mean, I know they use gold in some computer applications and hardware, and not computer applications, because applications mean software and computers. But some computer hardware engineering uses gold, and there's some other electronic things that use gold. So I know that gold is something that is real, but it's also something that doesn't spoil. And even if someone is hoarding the gold, you always can get it from them by giving them more money. And plus, there's more of it than people need. So it's not like a terrible thing. But let's see, the next one is oil. You know, people store oil and they hope it goes up, and then they like buy low and sell high. Oil's not too bad either. I mean, it is, I guess, technically perishable, but it's got a long shelf life. And, you know, there's other things. They store dried coffee grounds. They store frozen pork bellies. They've got giant vats full of orange juice. And now you're getting into stuff that has a value that's beyond storing wealth, because you can live by drinking orange juice and eating pork bellies and drinking coffee and these type of things. Now you're taking away from someone. You're trying to use commodities to store wealth, but you're taking away something people need to live. You're basically extorting people. You're like killing poor people. That's what you're doing. I mean, if you think that storing, you know, food is going to make you rich, you're actually killing poor people. So I think that a lot of people put up with the money myth because they see it as the least evil. Like, yes, it's ridiculous. Some idiot has some money in the bank, so now we're going to treat him like a king for the rest of his life. The problem is, it would be worse. Had you not let that guy accumulate wealth and use it to buy services, he would have accumulated land. He would have, you know, there's people who traffic human beings. You know, that's like a big thing right now, like human organ trafficking, slave trafficking. Like today, like 2023, this stuff still goes on. Like female sex trafficking, God forbid, child sex trafficking. So there's still people doing commodities, and they're taking it to some gross, disgusting, horrible, sinful, God forbid, monster areas. There's a movie about this right now. I forget the name of the movie. I think it's Sound of Freedom. Yeah, Sound of Freedom. I think they were... this is a rumor that I'm making up right now. There's no truth to it. But I think they were going to, at one point, call it Soldier of Fortune. But then they were like, well, why would the soldier just save children for money? Shouldn't the soldier save the children because children need to be saved? And they're like, oh, yeah. All right, let's make SOF mean Sound of Freedom rather than Soldier of Fortune. I just made that up. That's not true. All right, if I've got to the point where I'm just completely making stuff up, I think then we have to move on to start building the puzzle. We can't just like sit here and make stuff up for the rest of the day. That's ridiculous. So what we've got here is I was scanning and then processing the images while I was talking all that nonsense. So this is the instructions. So let's take a look here before we start building. Jig toy, what? Kuka Bulldog clock? Okay, I'm going to add that to the description. I don't know why I didn't say that in the outside of the box. That's a cool name. All right. Next time you see this video, it's going to, instead of saying Jig toy desk clock, it's going to say Jig toy Kuka Bulldog clock, because that's much better. So I guess this little creature here is I guess it's a Kuka Bulldog, right? Isn't that what that is then? Kuka Bulldog? All right. So that's a Kuka Bulldog, I guess. Hold on a minute. I want to switch the lighting in my room, and then I'll start building. Thank you, because I have a dog. So I was picturing like the dog needs a yard to run in. The dog has to have somewhere to run. So I'm building this clock that looks like a dog. And I thought the dog needs like a yard to play in. So I put this background. Let me switch so people can see what we're talking about. All right, so I don't know if you can see that background there. Oh, the camera's a little low. Oh, okay, no, you can see it. There's like, it's like a garden with some, I don't know, flowers or whatever. So that's the background. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I like it this way.
Yeah. All right. Now, how do I get back to... All right, the instructions. Okay. Assembly instructions. Please remove parts according to requirements of each step in drawing and do not remove all parts at once. Yeah, we know that. Assemble the parts in order of figure A to O. So those are the segments. They call them figures. You know what? It's good that we call them segments because we're also renaming them to number. We're transposing A to 1, B to 2, C to 3. Assemble the parts in order of figure A to 0 with the pattern facing the front and paying attention to the installation direction. You can even paint it to make your masterpiece really stand out. Unleash your creativity and show everyone the result of your hard work. So if you want to paint this when you're done, go ahead. And then for some reason they have a preview of the boards. There's a wrench apparently in board 6. Okay. So we're probably going to need that. Here's a parts list. A, B, C, D, E, F. They reused the numbers. The segments, we have, in the instructions, we have segments with letters. But they also are using the letters for these pieces. They're using capital letters for the segments and lowercase letters for the pieces. But those are only the pieces that are in these bags. So there's like other pieces that are not in those bags, and those have numbers. All right, that's 6 of 6, 5 of 6. So let's try to get these in the right order. I assume the instructions are going to go in order. 3 of 6. Then why is this 1 of 6? Did I shuffle these? 2 of 6, 1 of 6, and what is this? 4 of 6. Okay. Some piece just fell out, but I think it was a nothing piece. All right. All right, we got the boards in order. Let's hope the instructions match. All right, so at 32 minutes, we're starting the puzzle. Segment A. Segment A has 3 pieces. Those pieces are 1 and 12 times 2. So there's the 3 pieces. It says make sure the pattern side is facing forward and pay attention to the direction. Yeah, we're going to do that. All right, so piece 1. This is board 1. Yeah, there's piece 1. All right, piece 1. Let's do this. You know, some pieces are, like this piece is falling out that I'm not even supposed to be. This piece is falling out, I'm not supposed to be getting it out. And this piece that I'm supposed to be getting out is like stuck. All right, okay, we got it. All right, the other 2 pieces are 12 times 2. I don't see 12 here. Is 12 on the second board? Yeah, it is. I see 2 12s on the second board. And they have little something in them that needs to be like punched out. You see that little something there? It's like just a piece of garbage, but it needs to be removed. All right, there's our 2 12s. All right, be careful. Do them correctly. What did it say? Be careful, do them correctly. All right, so let's say we pick up this board. This is ink. So we're looking at the ink side. All right. These 12s have 2 notches at one side and 1 notch at the other side. The 2 notch side is going to be down, and the little notch is what's going to go through here. So you can already see what's going on here. Something's going to hang on that piece. But it's a little early for that, so for now, we're just connecting those pieces. All right, moving on to segment 2, which is actually B. Segment 2. They didn't give us a piece of wax. I don't know if we need it. We probably don't, because it's only going to be these hands on the clock that are moving, but I have wax if we need it. All right, so the second instruction it uses pieces 2, 3, and 4. Or does it use pieces 2 4s and a 3? No, 2, 3, and 4. 3 pieces, 2, 3, and 4. So we're up to 6 pieces. All right, so 2, 3, and 4. I got to assume those are going to be right here on the front cover, right? Oh, there are 2 4s. Maybe we are supposed to use 2 4s. I think we are. I'm moving the counter to 7. We're supposed to use 2. We're supposed to use both 4s. I wish they would tell us that clearly, like say that, because we could be wrong, because there's 2 slots in this, but I think we're using both. I think we're, we're using 2 of them, because I'll tell you how you know. Because we're putting 2 and 3 in the same slots. So we must be using 2 4s. I'll put 2 on the left and 3 on the right. It'll help me remember which one's which. All right, so here's 2. Here's 4. And which slot is it going in? We hold it. Let's say, no, that's not it. All right, like this. So we got the short tab on the left and the long tab on the right. And now we slide 2 into that piece. Now, does 3 go into 4 using the same method, or does it go in the opposite way? By the way, there's a front and back. B1 and B2. What's that all about? You see that little thing on the instructions? B1 and B2. I guess they're just saying that B has 2 parts. There's 2 halves to the B instructions. So, all right. So B2. Oh my goodness. They did 3 first. I need to redo this one. Unless they're the same either way. They're the same either way, so I'm not going to bother. They put the instruction for 3 before the instruction for 2, and I didn't notice. But the way they put them together, I think the only difference is that the ink, which side the ink faces. Is that true? Yeah, I think that's the only difference. So I'm just going to confirm that the ink is facing the correct direction in both instances. So putting 2 in. Oh, now putting 3 in. See, now I'm all confused because they did the 2 first. All right, they both go in the fat end. This is 3. That's 2. I don't know if there's any difference between these 2 pieces. I assume they would have called them both 2 if they were the same. All right, so one of them, they're both supposed to have ink going towards the long side. So I'm just going to spin this one around. Now, is there any difference between 2 and 3? It's not clear to me if there is a difference. So it probably is, right? They show them like this. Oh, okay, that's the difference. Oh, no, they're both correct. Okay, yeah, I don't know what's the problem. They look the same to me. There you go. All right, on to segment 3. If it's wrong, put it in the comments so people in the future can get it right. For now, I can't tell the difference. Oh, you know what? I think they're just telling us which is B1 and which is B2. But we also can tell by looking at them. So now in segment 3, we're going to combine 6, 2 17s, and B1 and B2. So we're adding 3 new pieces. And segment C, which we're calling 3, now we're up to 10 pieces. So we're adding 6, which is a huge piece, which we can get from the second sheet. And 2 17s we're going to add to it, which I guess those are going to be on the third sheet. Let's see. Oh my goodness. I was trying to get one section out and the whole rest of it came out. All right, 1, 2, there's the 17s on sheet 3. I gotta say, this seems like a pretty easy puzzle. I'm not guaranteeing I didn't make any mistakes, but it just seems like compared to some of the other puzzles we've been doing lately, it's quite easy. Now for the 17s, what do they look like? All right, they go in the very bottom, and it's trying to show us something. All right, there's like a curved side to them. There's a small centered notch at the top. Let's call it front. And there's a wide offset, and the offset should go to the outside. So the small tab to the front, the offset to the outside. And then what they're trying to show us with that blue and that blue stripe is that it should go into the depth of the blue stripe. I believe that's what they're trying to show us. That seems to be their code. Red arrow is slide in that direction, and blue stripe is stop at this position. That's how I'm reading the instructions. If you read it otherwise, let me know. So we've put it in to that depth. And then the B2, so, all right. So we've got 6 with this ink forward. And then if we hold 2 and 3, also with the ink forward, it's going to attach to this lower notch. And the gear, I don't know if this is really a gear. It sort of looks like a gear. Anyway, it's going to go behind this. I mean, it's not really a gear. You can't move it. So I don't know what it is, but it's something. All right, so let's put these 2 pieces on. If I can get them in. It looks like, I don't know, like a pair of pants with those are the boots, those are the pantaloons, those look like stirs, but they should be down here. I don't know. It's a funny little thing. All right, I feel like these 2 pieces need to like snap together and soon before they both fall down. All right, let's look at the next segment. What is going on here? Is this considered part of segment C? So there's segment C, which we're calling 3. Okay, yes. And then there's an arrow going here. And what they're showing here is to snap these 2 pieces together. So the first piece we built in back, the second piece we built in front. And in fact, look at those 2 like gears. They should, I would guess, line up perfectly with these 2 gears. Let's see if that works. All right. There's also at the bottom, there's a connectors. There's at least 4 connectors. I'll tell you if I find more, but at least 4. There we go. Oh man, did we lose the gear? No. The gear doesn't quite line up. We thought it would like line up. It doesn't quite line up. Okay. Wow, it's I'm not even getting this to go through. Okay, it just fell off, but we can easily put it back on. So I got this side on pretty easily, but this side is, for some reason, doesn't want to go on. Let's wiggle it a little bit. All right, now it went on. Replace this. This is pretty weak. Hopefully something's going to fix that at some point, or that's just going to keep falling off. Maybe I haven't pushed it in fully, like to its full depth. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I can push it in further. And actually, when you do that, not only does it lock in better, but it lines up with the graphic underneath. So I don't know why I didn't push these on all the way sooner. That was a mistake, which we're now fixing. Okay. All right, there we go. So the gears are in now. This guy's got his pantaloons on. That's what the gear looks like now. All right. And then we've got an arrow going down here. So we got an arrow coming into the attachment and then an arrow going down here. But the arrow going down here is just a QC. All right. But we do have segment 4 here. Segment 4 is going to add 2 pieces. Those 2 pieces are both 5s. Where are my 5s? Right here. 2 5s. All right, these are going to go right at the waist if we're still considering these pants. The piece, again, has a centered pin and a offset. The offset goes to the outside, the outside in the back, and the center goes front mid. The slit goes to the front. And let's see if we can push that all the way in. And then it's going to connect also at the back. Yeah, that becomes a pretty sturdy connection once you get it all the way in. All right. Wow, what's going on? Oh, the mid. Okay. We got some. These guys are not in completely. Basically, everything I did was not in completely. But I'm getting it there. All right. Now this is in. Now this should go in. Yeah. All right, there we go. So this is in, and it's flush. But what took me a second is these ones at the top. I hadn't pushed all the way down, and I needed to, so they can be pushed through in the front there. So, needed to fix that, and I did. I mean, if you do everything perfect on your first attempt, that's great. But if you don't, then you just keep it. You just keep working till you get it right. I mean, it's not done until you say it's done. Nobody says you have to get everything on the first attempt. You just keep working at it until you reach whatever you're trying to accomplish. All right, so that's segment 4. Did we count those 2 pieces? I think we did. I'm just going to go back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, we didn't count those 2 pieces, so we're up to 12 pieces. But we're moving on to segment 5. Let's take a look. Segment 5. All right, we're gonna start working with the head of the, what did they call this? Kuka Bulldog or something like that. All right, so we need piece 28, 2 9s, 24 and 26. What's that, 5 pieces? So segment 5 has 5 pieces. That brings us up to 17 total. So 2 9s, and the 9s on the first board here. That looks like a wrench, but it's probably a piece. I don't see 9s on the first board. Why are these? Oh, spare. I was thinking, why are these pieces not labeled? They're spares. This whole like corner is spares. That's cool. Nice that they thought of to give us spares. I don't see 9. Oh, there's 9. A little piece. Just a little tiny piece, that 9. All right, 2 9s. Okay. There's our 2 9s. They look like almost like crosses. All right, now where's a dog? 20, 24, 26, and 28. There's 24. It's like the ears. 24. There's 26. What is that? If those are the ears, what are these? I don't know. And I think 28 is this piece that fell out early on. All right, so time to snap this together. Let's get snappy with it. All right, so just as a reminder, 28 goes in the back, 24 goes in the middle, 26 goes in the front, and it's all going to be kept together by these 9s. So the 9s go up here. The 2 outer, let me just zoom in and confirm that. Oops, lost the picture. Why do I have some images twice? Yeah, those 2 outer. Right there. Those 2 outer, like, I don't know, rectangles, squares, whatever you want to call them. Stick the 2 9s in there. And then that's going to pass through 24 and then go into 26. So 24, it's the 2 uppermost pieces again. Uppermost squares, voids, slots, whatever you want to call them. Holes, apertures. Think up your own word and use that. All right, that's on. Now, the ear. I don't know. What are these? They're not ears exactly. Are they part of the ear? I don't know what these are. I think, you know what? I think it's a 3D representation. Like, this is the inner ear, and this is like the fur on the outside of the ear. I think that's what that is. Just the fur. It's not, don't think too hard about it. It's just going to look like a dog when we're done. In fact, this might not even be no, it has ink on it, so it is going to be a visible piece. That's not where the clock is going, is it? It looks like something building there. Is this as far as it could go? There's like quite a gap in there. I don't know. I'm just following directions. So that's segment 5. The little QC. Yeah, QC looks good. This piece is now E. Well, it was always segment E. All right, so segment F, which we're calling segment 6, is we're just attaching. Oh no, we do have some new pieces. We're gonna attach these like pants to this head, which is really just a dog. Let's call it the dog's body, to the dog's head. But we're also going to add some pieces, which are 2 16s and 29. So that brings us up to 20 pieces. All right, so the first thing we do is we drop this on top of this. There's only one set of slits, so that's where it goes. Let's try to get it like all the way down this time. It's no way down right now. All right, there we go. All the way down. So, there we go. It's very tall right now, isn't it? Doesn't even fit on screen. All right. I think we're going to not have a close-up camera anymore. I think we're going to have a height camera. All right, so there's the height of this thing. It's quite tall. When we want to see the full thing, there it is. All right, so for now, we need to grab 3 pieces, 29 and 2/16. 2/16 and 29. Still got more pants here. Did we skip that? That's going to go on the front because you can see his even like nails. You know, this is definitely the front. Is this part of his ear? I don't know. Let's not guess. All right, we need 2/16, and we got them right here. 2/16. Now, the other piece we need is 29, which I guess we're not up to yet. Where's 29? There's 29. 29 it is. And now we just put this together by itself, and then we add it to the dog. All right, so how do we do this? The 2/16 go into the 29. So while we're looking at the inked side, pick up the 16 and we point the tab backwards and we slide it in this upper corner. Let's try to slide it to flush. I don't know why I wasn't doing this before, but I've since learned that that's what they expect of us. All right, so slide it into flush. That should have probably been obvious, but you know what? It's not really a problem. You know, you live, you learn. Every model's different, and now we know how this one works. Okay. So there's the little piece in isolation. Now we have to add it to the dog. So it's going to add fairly high up there. Those are the pieces. Those, like, I don't know if you can see that even. Here and here, they're like fairly large rectangles. And that's where it's going to go. But it's also going to connect at the bottom. So in the instructions, there's blue. So you see eight blue pieces, really. Like 4 back connectors and 4 front connectors. And that's how it's going to go. So like 1, 2, 3, 4 back connectors are going to connect to 1, 2, 3, 4 front. And now what's a little tricky is the front has the tabs and the back has the slots. And on the bottom, the back has the tabs and the front has the slots. Much easier in practice than it sounds in description. We're just going to drop it in there and it's going to work, I think. Let's see. Well, you got to make sure it's lined up. You don't want to break the piece. Yeah, this one's not quite lined up. All right, now it is. All right, I think we got it. I think we're good. It looks a little like... Doesn't it look like... Does that look straight to you? This piece looks a little slanted. Oh, okay, never mind. I mean, it still looks a little slanted, but I think it's unavoidable. So that's what we got so far. There's the little pooch in his little yard. All right. Let's see what's next. Segment G. Am I even doing this right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So G is 7. All right. All right. What are we adding on G? 11? Are we just 11 and 15? So we're adding 2 pieces. We're up to 22. There's only 42 pieces. So I guess we're going to be halfway done in a second. I got a feeling they're not counting all these actual clock pieces. So we're still going to have to do that at the end. All right, 11 and 15. There's 11. I think they also gave us a backup of that piece. There's 13. We're not up to. There's 14. 13 and 14 look a lot alike. 15 is the piece with the little tootsies. So that's 15. Okay. Now, how do we do this? Let's refresh our memory. All right. So 11 is going to go into the front face. I don't know. Yeah, the face, basically. With this, like, let's call it a nose sticking out the front. So these 2 pins in the back are going to go in. And then this is going to go kind of below that, but also on it. That little oval rectangle is going to attach onto that. So let's do it. All right. 11 goes in. And then this one, yes, we mentioned this connector going here, but there's a lot more going on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more connections. And you can see that. Actually, you can't. These 2 don't connect, I don't think. Or do they? Well, there's one way to find out. Let's put it on there. It only shows 5 connectors in the instructions. That's why I'm a little confused. But I guess we're going to find out right now. Yeah, it's 7 connections. I don't know why the instruction's only showing 5 of them. It's clearly 7. Unavoidable. No other way to do it. 3 connections at the top, 4 at the bottom. So the instructions are officially not perfect. I'm not sure if I've ever done a puzzle where the instructions were perfect. It's like, seems to be the type of thing that, you know, it's just part of the challenge, I guess, is reading the instructions. Maybe Lego. Maybe that's why Lego doesn't have words. Maybe they've produced some correct, 100% correct instructions, but it's not easy to do, like to get every little pin right. Because really the instructions will work. If they show, 5 connections and there's really 7, it's not like you aren't going to make those other 2 connections. And they're going to maybe surprise you for a second, but you're going to see that they line up and you're going to make them. As we're doing right now. Getting those little doggy toenails connected. Look at that. The dog got some claws now. All right. What is this open space here? I guess that's where the guts of the clock is going to go. Are those his eyes right there? Or are those his eyes? I'm not sure. I think these are the eyes. Let's find out. Let's keep going. So that was segment 7. We're now halfway done. Officially halfway done. 22 of the 44 pieces. All right, so the next segment is H, which to us is 8. And it involves 30 2 8s, and 2 7s. So 5 pieces. So that brings us up to 27 pieces. 30, 2 8s, and 2 7s. We could have 7s right here on the first board. No, I see 7s on the second board. All right. There's actually, I think, copies of 7s on the first board, but let's save the copies for when we need them. For now, let's just grab like 2 7s. Why do we deal with the 8s before the 7s? 2 8s. There's an issue here with the 8s, by the way, which I'll show you. I took out the close-up cam in favor of this height cam, but I'm going to show you as close as I can get. This doesn't go here. You're going to have to punch that out. All right. That's what it looks like. Grab that little piece, take it out. I got a little tool here, which I use, but fingers will work too. When you get a splinter, sand it off. Okay. Now, the first piece they want, oh, we didn't grab it yet. It's piece 30. $27, $25, 31, 30. There's piece 30. So what do they want us to do with this piece 30? I think it's going to drop in, like kind of from the top. I don't know if it's then going to go push back onto any tabs. It might, but it doesn't really, I don't see any. I think it's just going to slide in from the top and that's it. It's going to slide onto this like back row here. I believe that's the plan. So just drop that in there, right? Wow, it's too tall to even show you. All right, let's try this one. All right, here we go. Ink side out. Drop into the back tab. Now we have to get it all the way down. Okay, good. It's obvious when you get it all the way down because those curves fit together. And we got some tabs in the front, but I don't see anything making connections with this. So we just slid it on from the top for now. There'll be more soon. All right, so now we need to stick 2 8s. Are you ready for this? It looks painful almost. We have to stick these 8s into these little holes here. It reminds me of that scene with in Infinity War with Doctor Strange, when they're like trying to get the information out of him and they're using some like psychic torture and they're making him think that there's like needles going into his cheekbones. Anyway, we just did that to this pooch. I feel bad, but we had to do it. That's what the puzzle called for. I mean, I didn't want to do it, but that's, that's how you build the puzzle. All right. So now this E, this is crazy. I don't know why I called it an E. It looks like an E. It's actually piece 7. And it has 4 slots, and all 4 of those slots are going to get connected right now. So the skinny end goes to the front, and the fat and rounded end goes to the back. And what we're going to do, we're going to connect it sort of under the ear here. And there's one. I only see 3 connections. Oh, this fat one, the second connection for the fat one, I guess it's going to loop around the bottom of those 2 ear pieces that are like hooked together. Yeah, I think that's the plan. Let's get that in there. Let's get it to flush. It's not going. We gotta get it in there. What's stopping it? I think it's stopping on those two wide pieces, so what's going on there? Maybe it's supposed to go underneath those pieces? Because if you put it on those pieces, it doesn't go all the way in, which I think it needs to go all the way in. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put the other side on as well, and then we're going to squeeze them both together. All right, so 1, 2, 3 connections plus the double side in the middle. All right, the 3 connections are easy. The double side in the middle is the one that's confusing me. I think it actually has to go underneath it. Well, then why is there a notch? I don't get it. All right, we've got them both on. I'm going to squeeze them together. It worked. I was worried that I was going to break the thing when I squeezed them together. Ooh, now he's got eyebrows. Nice. His little pooch is coming together. All right, that was H8, which spells hate, by the way, H8. But we love this little pooch. But maybe he hated getting those screws put into his cheekbones. That seemed terrible. All right, I somehow hit the segment button twice. I is 9. I is 9, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. I is 9. All right, 31, 10. Is that it? Oh, 27. 3 pieces. So we're up to 30 pieces. 31, 10, and 27. We need to add those 3 pieces. So let's do it. I think hopefully that's all garbage. 10 is the lowest number we need. There's 10. We still need 31 and 27. Highest number here is 21. No, 23 is the highest number there. All right, what do we got here? 27. We need that. And we still need 31. All right, we've finished our first board. Board 5 of 6 is complete. We're done with this board. It's kind of a cool board, but we're done with it. All right, now these 3 pieces, we put them on one at a time. I mean, I guess that's obvious, but basically there's 3 instructions on segment 9. 1 piece goes on each instruction. So this big piece, which is 31, goes on that slot at the front. Just slides right down there. Does it also clip onto something? I don't know yet. I guess we'll find out when we slide it on. I don't see any blue other than the 2 sliding points. So we have to get it to line up with everything else. All right, is that good? Or can it go further? I think that's good. I'm not really sure. I think it's good because if you look at it, like, see those 2 slots? They line up with this notch. And I think that's good. In fact, that's exactly right. Because next we add 10. And we're going to add it like exactly to these slots and notches. In fact, if you remember those pins that we put in his cheeks, they're going to line up with these pieces. Like, if you remember how we put them in, they were like vertical, and these ones are horizontal. There's a notch in the middle. Hopefully everything just lines right up. Let's see. Boom. You heard that sound? That was a good sound. It meant everything lined up. That could have been a pain in the ass. So now this dog has a plus sign right in the middle of his face. So that's obviously going to hold something. Maybe this remaining piece, 27? I think so. All right, let's get a close look at how that works. Not really sure. Yep. Yeah, that's it. All 4 of those pins going to get used right now. Is this the dog's like mouth or something? I guess. I don't know. Anyway. We got 4 pins here. And we got 4 slots. And hopefully everything lines up. It's not lining up so far. The vertical ones are lining up, but not the horizontal, not yet. I don't know whether I have to wiggle them or just push them. Okay. I think that's pretty good. I think they're... You know what? I think they can get them in further. I'm taking them off camera to take a close look to see if they're lined up or not. All right. I think they are lined up, so I'm going to squeeze them a little bit. And if they go on, nah, they don't, I can't get them to go on any further. But they're lined up, but they just don't go any further. All right. So that's it for segment 9. We now go to segment 10, which is J. And we're going to add 2 pieces, 21 and 23. We're up to 32 pieces. All right, 21 and 23. Nope. Nope. 21 and 23. I got 2 pieces. The bigger one is 21. The little one is 23. Got them both prepped, inside out. No idea what that is. Probably scrap. All right, so 21 goes at that top pin. So there's a pin sticking out up here, and that's exactly where 21 goes. Yep. Ah, you can see the dog. He's starting to come together. All right. And then 23 goes to the exact same location. 23 is the dog's nose. That's his nose. Let's add it. A little button nose. Kuka Bulldog. Is that what they called it? Yeah, that's his snout. I guess that's his teeth. I don't know. It's his jowls. I don't know. It was a cute little doggy, that's for sure. You definitely can see that face now. All right, a little QC point. That looks good. All right, moving on to K, I guess. Let me see. H again? What did I do? Do that one twice? Yeah, let's delete that one. For some reason I scanned that one twice. Now imagine I delete the wrong page. All right, K. So K is 11, I think. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. K is 11, yeah. All right, we're putting on the clock face, which is 32. And we're also putting on 13 and 14. So that's 3 pieces. So we're up to 35 pieces. $32 and 2 13s. 13 is a huge piece. Doesn't look this big. It doesn't look as big as it actually is when you're looking at the instruction booklet. When you see this actual piece, Maybe huge isn't the right word, but it's big. All right, we're done with board 2. Second, no, that's 13. And then we need 14. So apparently these pieces are slightly different. And they're going to go on the back. So let me spin this around, because when you're looking at the back, 13 is on the left and 14 is on the right. Okay, so 13 and 14. We still need 32, which is, this should be 30. That's 25. Where's 32? Oh, because we're dealing with the back? No, 32 is going to go on the front. All right, here's 32. Anyway. So let's spin it back to the front to deal with 32. All right, is this seriously only going to have 2 connection points? And they're these knees where it's barely even coming out? There's obviously going to be more later. But for now, we're just connecting it at the knees. With 2, like, barely sticking out pins. That, frankly, I can't even get lined up. There we go. Flip it over to the back. And this is weird. 13 and 14 just go in there. Like, I guess it's like a stand. Just like a stand. Oh, they go through all the way to the front. All right. The 2 pins that they're going to go to are in 32. Well, that's strange. All right. So, see those 2 pins? Those 2 slots? They're actually on the front of 32. But we're going to slide from the back to the front. This is actually going to make it pretty strong, I think. Yeah. If we can get it lined up. Big if. Let's see here. Come on. Get in there. Oh, it's like offline. Okay, good. Good. That's in. Let's get the other one in. $82 minutes. Wow. Well, I think we started at 32, but even starting at 32, we're already at the par time. And we're not done. So I guess we're not doing that great. We still got 9 more wooden pieces, and then we got to do the clock, components. But it's looking cute. We may not be doing it fast, but we're doing it cute. All right, so moving on to segment L, which we're going to call 12. Ooh, clock components. All right. The main clock piece is going to go in the back. And then the other pieces are all going to be, well, the wrench is a wood piece. So let's grab the wrench. All right. Does the wrench count as a piece? All right, we're definitely adding A, B, and C. So that's 3 pieces. I'm going to skip counting the wrench, but we always can add it later if we're wrong. All right, so A, B, and C. So here's A. A is the clock mechanics. This is A. So this is going to go in the back of this doggy. There's a main spindle or whatever there, and that's going to line up with that hole, and then you can see this gray that's going to be in the back. So that's it, it's in. And now what's going to keep it in is pieces B and C. Now I'm not sure it's going to be obvious which pieces are B and C, but let's see if we can figure it out. I guess I'll just dump all these pieces out and we'll try to, hopefully it'll be obvious which pieces are which. Wow, they're like fragile little nothing pieces. One of them's a washer. Actually, we're going to need that washer. The washer is B. And the nut is C. And then we still have 3 hands, I guess hour, minute, and second. And then we have to use this wrench. All right, so I guess we just put in this washer and then this nut on the dog's like belly button here and then tightening it with the wrench. I mean, right? What else are we doing here? That's it. All right, I got it a little bit tight. Now I'm going to hold the piece in the back while tightening it with the wrench. All right, righty tighty, lefty loosey. I think that's pretty tight. I only did one circle, but it seemed like it went pretty tight. All right, that's it. That's it for segment 12, which is L. Moving on to 13. I know 13 is right because there's 26 letters in the alphabet, and M is the last of the first half. All right, so we're going to add here 25, and then D, E, and F, which are the clock mechanics. So remember from the beginning, this like thing we were supposed to look at. Maybe we'll look at that now, maybe not. I don't know. But we're definitely adding 4 pieces. So that's 42. And then what's left? We've already did K, so we apparently photographed that piece twice as well. All right, so... Oh, we're going to end up above 44 pieces. We probably weren't supposed to count the clock mechanics. But anyway, we counted them. We're going to have more. In fact, we already have more. Just adding 25 D, E, and F, that already brings us to 46. All right, so 25 is a piece of wood. It's quite a piece of wood, actually. It's this clock face. And then D, E, and F are the hands. By the way, board 4 is done. Check board 4 off your list. We're done with board 4. I don't know how I can't get that on camera. There we go. It's done. All right, clock face. And then D, clock face is 25. I think we're supposed to punch some wood out of here, right? This wood is scrap. I'm trying to get it carefully out without breaking the rest. I moved the scoreboard up to the top because it just felt like it just kept being I know it doesn't take up much space, but it kept being exactly where I was working. Now it's like giving the dog a haircut. All right, we're going to move the dog a little bit over. You know what? Let's switch to this camera so we can see the dog in his playground. Well, we will get to that in a minute. So D is the hour hand. E is the minute hand. And F is the second hand. F is a screw. So it's going to screw like into, the middle of that dog. I can't really get this on camera looking good. You just have to take my word for it that that's a screw. And it's going to screw into this belly button here. I feel like I need a little more light. All right. This light might be a little crazy, but I just want to try again if we can see that screw. Well, we can see it a little better. Still really can't, but all right. There's some instructions about adding this. Check that they are parallel and not touching wood. Tip during installation, the clock hands need to be pressed with force into the clock's axle in order to function properly. All right, sounds like getting these hands to work is not child's play. Let's see these instructions again. What did they say? Point everything at 12. The hands must be parallel to each other. Step 1, insert the hour. Step 2, insert the minute. Step 3, insert the second hand. Hour shaft, second shaft, minute shaft. All right, so the minute, the hour is the fat part, the minute is the thin part, and the second is in the middle. There's like it's going to sink in the middle. I don't know if it's a screw or we're just going to push it in there. They're making it seem like you just push it in there. And then it shows clock movement. Okay. All right, so that's the plan. But we're not up to that yet. First, we need to attach 25. So there's like 4 little somethings, doodads, I think might be the term of art for what these are. Oh, tabs. We're putting 4 tabs into 4 slots to make this face of the clock fit on. And this one sunk in. Oh, okay, it's coming from the back here. It's this piece we just added on the back. And when I tried to put it in on one side, it like pushed the whole thing out. So I have to you have to hold the back while pushing it on the front. So those 4 tabs are actually these 2 pieces that we just put on a second ago. That's where they go on to. And this clock is jumping around like a maniac. All right, so we got to get them on without pushing them out, because so far all I'm doing is pushing them out, which means they're not lined up. All right, I got 2 of them on. 2 down, 2 to go. 3. All right, last one, 4. All right, we got them all on. Let's see that they're like secure there. All right, now it's time to do those clock hands. So we're going to line them up with the 12. We got to get the fat one, the minute, the hour hand on the fat one. Which way goes down? Huh. It's not happening. Maybe it goes on the other way? No, it definitely doesn't go on that way. You got to see this. It's like painted black on the top, so that's definitely the way it goes, but I'm not getting it to go down to where it's supposed to. Should I force it on? I want to take a close look at that pin. Yeah. I don't know why it's not going on, but it needs to. So this is like kind of sitting on the top right now, but it needs to get down to the bottom. And I don't know if I just got to jiggle it and it'll fall down, or if I got to push it down. I feel like if I flipped it over, that would work better, but I know that's not the way it's supposed to go on. Okay, maybe we just need to hold the piece at the back. All right, we need to study this instructions again because I don't want to force this on if it's wrong. Yeah, it definitely needs to go down further. It needs to go down to the hour shaft. The fat part of this thing is the hour. Right now it's on the minute. It needs to get down to the hour. It won't go on or off at this point. I think I got it. Alright, it's all the way down. Now we put on the second hand. And that should go down halfway. Let's line it all up with 12 o'clock like they said. Get them parallel. This piece is bent. I mean, they're like getting on my case about keeping it parallel. Should I unbend it? It's clearly bent. All right. I just unbent it. I guess that's why they warned you about keeping it parallel. Because they knew some of the pieces are going to show up bent. All right. So there's the minute. There's the second. There's the hour and the minute. The second is also bent. Try to get that straight. And then this is going to go in the top. You know what? It's not threaded. We're just going to push it in the top. I don't know why I assumed it was threaded. I assumed it was threaded, but we couldn't see the thread on the camera. Turns out it just wasn't threaded. Ooh, it made a popping sound. I think that means it went in. Do we wind the clock up now? No, I think there's still some more directions. All right, 14, which is N. Oh, we're back to building here. I don't get it. What are they asking us to do here? Make some tail for this thing? We're attaching some tail. Let me show you here. Okay. It's kind of weird. This page reads like it goes to the middle, to the right, to the left. So this is first. Put those three pieces together. This is second. Attach them to the clock. And then this is third. Oh, sorry. This is third. Drop it down. Actually, third is just a check. And then the arrow is down to the fourth, which is putting on that pad. All right, so N has a lot going on here. It has 5 pieces of wood. And it creates some tail that's going to tick-tock or something. Anyway, 5 pieces of wood. So we're up to 51 pieces. So even if you didn't count those electronic pieces, I think you'd still be over 44 pieces. I don't know where they came up with the number 44. It's not accurate. Anyway, the first thing we need to do is 18, 19, and 22. We still got some serious pieces we haven't assembled yet. There's 22. And there's 18 and 19. But we still have 20. We didn't use 20 yet. So this board's not done yet. And then the first board has spares. All right, to put this together, hold 19, pick up 18, slide it onto that top piece, and then pick 22 and slide it into this groove. I guess push it all the way in. That's what we've been, yeah, there we go. Now this has to go. Try not to break everything here. It has to go into this piece. Back here. But is that going to stay in? Is there like a tab it needs to go through? I feel like nothing is going to keep that in there. There's also notches here. Where do these notches go? Wow. I don't get it. I put it on upside down. This piece fell off, and I put it back on upside down. All right, I don't see what's going to keep this in, but let's just do what they say. So stick this into this. And it kind of like is a tight fit. Maybe that's what's supposed to keep it in there, just the tightness of the fit. I guess that's how all, the connections work, really, just by being tight. But it's just weird for a piece that's going to have movement, and we're mixing from wood to plastic. It's kind of weird that it's only staying by how much we push it in. But anyway, that's the plan here. What? Come on. It's not going in. And I feel like if I push it, I'm going to bend it. All right. New plan. You know what? This shape looks like it should connect upside down. But I don't think it's possible to do that. No, it's not. So it has to go in front like this. All right, now that that's in, can we drop this in? Oh, okay, that's what's going to keep it in. The plastic is going to go into this groove. There's a little bit of space at the bottom of this groove, and the plastic needs to go in there. I'm going to sand the top of this just to give it the best chance of fitting in there, because so far it's not. Come on. Am I breaking this? Am I doing this wrong? I'm doing it wrong. It goes on the other side. Yeah, it goes on the other side. The only thing is, if it goes on the other side, how's that gonna, what's gonna keep it on? Nothing? Or are we gonna attach something to the back? I bet we're gonna attach something to the back. 20. Did we count 20 yet? I don't think we did. Let me see. 2, 3, 4. No, I think we did count 20. Okay. But we didn't punch it out. All right, I'm going to add this up one more. I don't think we counted 20 yet. All right, so I was doing it wrong. That's why it wasn't working. So this piece, which means I also have this. Basically, I screwed this up because I had the ink on the wrong side. The ink goes on this side, and then this piece connects from the bottom. So I was doing it wrong the whole time. And then when it's on the bottom, then we put 20 on, the piece 20 on to lock everything in. And that might be a tight fit, but once that's on, everything will be locked in. Can't see what I'm doing. All right, I think we have to get the notch in first. All right. And then we have to push the back down. So we got the notch on. Do we have the notch on? And now we got to put the tab through the slot. Got it. It's in. The tail is on. Man, that was tough. That was the toughest connection so far. The only problem is now it needs to be mounted because now there's like a tail sticking down at the bottom. So it doesn't go on a desk anymore. I mean, they said it was a desk clock, but this tail makes it not able to be a desk clock unless there's going to be more pieces added. And there are two more, 34 and 35. So we're up to 54 pieces. Maybe they meant 54 pieces. No, there's still more. There's still this 33 piece. All right, so 34 and 35. Let's get those pieces on. 34, 35. Is this board done? Yeah, board 3 of 6 is done as well. All right. 34 and 35. So 34 is going to go on the back here. There's a slit. There's two slits there, and there's two slits here, and they go together. All right. There we go. Or did we push them all the way in? Feels like it's sliding out a little bit. All right, get them to flush, as we've been doing all night. Okay, 34 is on. And now 35, here's the wall mounting kit. You see there? That's where you're going to put it on a screw, and it's going to hang on a wall. So this isn't a desk mount, this is a wall mount. All right, anyway. How does this go on? Oh, from... we gotta like thread it through. So we like drop it on and then push it up. Yeah, that's how it goes on. And then I guess we just keep pushing until it's like, there we go. All right, what next? 14, yeah. All right, we're finally done with 14. And then 15 is the last one. And all it is the tail. But there's a lot of like checks like to make sure you get that tail correct. So if you want to remove the tail, then you could sit it on the desk. But we'll hang it like a hook. I mean, we got this far. All right, so here's the last piece. So 55. So 15 segments, 55 pieces. There's a certain... So they said there were 44 pieces. There's actually 55. But I like that ending with 15 and 55. That's kind of cool. All right. So here's... okay. So... I'm not sure I want to mess with that one. I'm trying to find some way to attach this thing. Okay. Grabbing like a bracket. You know what? I got something better. Okay. All right, what are we going to hang this on? I got a hook, but I'm just thinking what to hang it on. Let me see how high this camera goes. Yeah, that goes pretty high. Sorry, I look like... that was a terrible look I had in that camera. Is that like what I look like? That's horrible. Okay. No, that's too high. All right, how about this height? Can we hang this thing from there? Did I get it? Yeah, it's hung. So there's the dog. It's not really the best view. Because there's all these like cables and microphones in the way. Yeah, we gotta find a better view for that. We also didn't wind it up yet. Show everyone the result of your hard work. Look forward to seeing your work. I think we need to make this thing like it needs to operate. How do we make this clock work? All right. Like, the clock is not turned on yet. Do we wind it from the front? Is that how it works? How do you wind one of these clocks? Oh, there we go. So we just move the minute hand and the hour hand just kind of moves on its own. It got caught. Wow, they're really flimsy. These things are really flimsy. They're like metal bends. Well, it looks like a clock, but getting it to function as a clock, it keeps catching. You really got to bend these things to like perfectly parallel. I also think, okay, do we need to move them backwards? Like, is that, and then it clicks forward? Because right now it's not doing anything. And certainly, that's why they made a big deal about keeping them parallel. If they point down, they'll catch on the mechanism. If they point up, they'll catch on each other. So these things are really tough to do. I see that tail wagging, but is that just because I'm doing this? Doesn't seem like anything's moving on its own. It only moves if I move it. There's something from the back to wind this. Why are there no instructions on how to start the clock? Okay, well, at least I'm going to hang it up. At least we made it look like a thing. All right. I'm going to pick up the iPad just to give you a view here. So the tail is wagging. The tail is wagging, but I don't think any of the hands are moving. Well, we have to look into why it's not moving. Probably need to wind it up. I guess when I figure it out, I'll post it in the comments, or maybe I'll show it on a future episode. But for now, we built it, but it doesn't tick. Maybe I just don't know how to wind clocks. Like, what is the answer here? How do we wind this thing? Oh, I'm showing a blank screen right now. Sorry. All right. So the dog is now not on screen. All right. All right. Here's the pup. It looks fairly good. It's only desktop if you fold up this tail. If not, yeah, if you fold up the tail, then it's desktop. The hands, I believe that they'll work if we can figure out how to wind them. Like, maybe we just didn't wind them far enough, or maybe they're just like tangling each other, and that's what's stopping them from moving. Yeah, I definitely keep bending these. Maybe it's the second hand is the only thing that works. It's going to take a year to wind this by the second hand. Nothing. All right, let's try the hour hand, the minute hand. All right, I took the tail off so it can go back to being a desk clock. I actually accidentally knocked the tail off while playing with the clock thing. Anyway, there's what the puppy looks like. This puppy doesn't know how to tell time, unfortunately. But he looks cool. I'm John Rapp. This is Just Rest Your Eyes. Good night, and see you tomorrow.